thinking that the German Nazi regime was tottering. This was a fact. And a number of others, the Investors' Review, for example, also thought the Nazi regime could come to an end at the end of 1933. And that was the last thing that the Zionists wanted. They wanted the Nazi regime to stabilize, because between 33 and 39, 60% of capital investment in Jewish Palestine economy came from Nazi Germany. So when I said in a Palestine seminar that the Jewish state was Hitler's bastard offspring, the Jewish Chronicle screamed about this notorious anti-Zionist once again indulging in terrible anti-Semitism. But that was true. Between the period of 1930, when the Nazi Party got 6 million votes, and the two elections in 1932, when he got 11 and 13 million votes, the main propaganda of the Nazi Party was anti-communist. It wasn't anti-Semitic. I mean, anti-Semitism was not particularly respectable in Germany at that time. And it's a myth to believe that all the Germans were anti-Semites and therefore voted Hitler into power. Hitler played down anti-Semitism almost to the point of non-existence. But in the Nazi ideology, Jews were seen as the biological parents of Bolshevism. And that was why they were merged into two. When the Einsatz group and the killing squads followed in the wake of the German army in the invasion of the Soviet Union, they would merge commissars and communists and Jews together because they were seen to be one and the same almost. And that was the same with the leading Nazis as well. Communists and Jews were seen as two sides of the same coin, if you like. There was no real difference. And so for Hitler, getting rid of the Jews was to him getting rid of the origin. The Jew Marx is a very frequent phrase if you read Mein Kampf, for instance, or Judeo-bolshevism was another phrase. So they were intertwined. But for the Zionists, of course, Hitlerism was simply about the Jews. And therefore it explains absolutely nothing, not least the support of the Western bourgeoisie. I mean, for example, Lloyd George, who met Hitler, said, whatever one may think of his methods, and they are certainly not those of a parliamentary country, there can be no doubt that he has achieved a marvellous transformation in the spirit of the people, in their attitude towards each other, and in their social and economic outlook. He rightly proclaimed at Nuremberg that in 4 years, his movement has made a new Germany. And even Churchill was on record with similar comments about Hitler. And this was the widespread view. I mean, the Times of England had absolutely no criticism of him. The BBC, which of course is now so opposed to anti-Semitism, the Daily Mail was a pro-Hitler paper, so was the Daily Express. Viscount Rothermere, who owned the Mail, was an ardent Hitler supporter and deprecated all this reference to what he called atrocity propaganda. Very large sections of the bourgeoisie supported Hitler. We had the Anglo-German Fellowship, stuffed with all sorts of corporate sponsors. There were a number of big companies, Price Waterhouse, for example, a big accounting firm. They had Tory MPs and so on. And this was, in essence, a parliamentary group lobbying in support of German interests. Anti-Semitism wasn't mentioned at the time. Anti-Semitism for them is only a recent phenomenon which comes about because of Israel.